Supanova Sydney. How are you guys doing? Today we are doing a little panel with a bunch of us variety creators. We've all got a different type of content that we tend to make, and I guess we're all going to talk about it today. So I might start with some introductions. We do have some slides as well. And I am your host for today. Hello, my name is Ellie Sabbath, but just Ellie will do. I'm a creator who likes to record all of my hobbies, including all things cosplay, travel, adventures, event coverage, vlogs, and a whole lot more. I'm also a gamer at heart, and you can find me on my PC gaming in my spare time and bringing my passion for fantasy worlds to life. I like to think that my content is a mix of chaos, creativity, and pure nerdy joy. Okay, and then we'll go to the next person. So the next person to introduce is Alchemy, because he's next on the slides. Do you remember what your introduction is?
No.
No? I'm gonna take a seat.
Hi, I'm Alchemy. I'm cursed with making a lot of creative things, but I'm too lazy to make them. So I do a lot of coding, and now I'm getting into making food vlogs.
And next is Beat Drop Bandit.
What's happening, everybody?
Sounds like you're straight.
Yeah, so I'm a content creator from here in Sydney. I'm also a producer. I love art. I love indie games. I live and breathe that stuff. I've been doing it pretty much my whole life, and that's my whole thing. If I'm near a camera, I'm happy. That's kind of my jam.
All right, next up is NJ.
Hey guys, my name is Jaden and Jurassic. I'm a Jurassic Park content creator nowadays. I still game on the side and things like that, but yeah, the year of Jurassic, you can't spell Jurassic Park without J. So I am the music, I am Jurassic. I make content on everything on social media, from YouTube to TikToks, Instagram Reels, and I cover pop culture, gaming, tech, and all that jazz. My community likes to describe me as a living meme, and yeah, we bring that chaotic energy everywhere we go.
Cool. Well, the next person is, there we go, the button worked, Lava.
Hi, my name is Lava, and I'm a story-rich and community-focused streamer from Sydney. I do lots of story games, Dead by Daylight, as well as some co-working as well, being productive on stream. And I'm a huge advocate for mental health as well as disability awareness, because that's what I talk about a lot, so I like to do that online. And I make lifestyle content on TikTok and Instagram, so yeah, thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we have Fid.
Yeah, I'm the old man of the group. I've started my content creation journey back in the 90s on radio, so I've been around this for a long time. Started off in radio, like I said, went into podcasting, and been involved with YouTube and whatnot, but I've spent most of my career now working on the other side of things, not behind the microphone, not behind the camera, or not in front of a camera, sorry, but working with content creators, with brands and stuff like that. However, in the recent years, I have stepped back into content creation as a pro wrestling content creator, interviewing pro wrestling superstars around the world, doing reviews of shows and stuff like that.
Cool. So that's everyone's introductions. I do have a couple of questions to ask all of the panelists today. We will try and dive into our own topics and niches as much as we possibly can from each question, because they're quite generalized, but it gives us a chance to cover a lot, basically. So the first question is, how did you get into your niche, and what inspired you to start creating this type of content?
I'll start off. So, like I said, we're talking about the pro wrestling stuff specifically. It's an interesting conversation that involves Jaden, actually. So I've been a pro wrestling fan literally since the 80s, since I was a kid, Hulkamania and all that sort of stuff. And basically, outside of gaming and stuff, it was probably my real true passion was pro wrestling. And NJ can actually tell you this, like anytime we got together, we didn't really talk about video games, we didn't talk about, apart from if we were talking about work stuff, streaming and stuff, I talked all the time about pro wrestling. And it was actually Jaden who said, bro, why don't you start start creating content around it. So thanks to Jaden, I actually did do it. So it's been really successful.
Do I go next from that?
Yeah, go.
I
you want
definitely
to
have a
make
shout
your way
out for Finn as well. So how did I get into Jurassic Park? Pretty much when it came to, it was 2022 and Jurassic World Dominion was coming out. And Jurassic Outpost, shout out Jurassic Outpost, the biggest and best Jurassic community on social media. They did a campaign with Big W for a toy launch. And I was lucky enough to be a part of that. And in that interview after, I asked the guys from Jurassic Outpost, I'm like, hey, you guys aren't on TikTok, can I manage it? And Jack, the owner, was like, yeah. And that's how I got into all the Jurassic things. But also in 2022, I was going to quit content creation, but it was actually thanks to Fid with all the pack stuff and flying me out with the company he was with at the time. I saw, I guess, the doors opened that there's much more to content creation than just gaming and things like that, and you know, diving into your niche and like embracing cringe and being you was the door to open many doors and things like that. And yeah, ever since that,
I'm really glad that paid off for you, because we had you working your ass off that weekend.
yeah. So yeah, if it wasn't for Fid, I probably would have quit content creation, but I wasn't seeing any results or anything like that. So yeah, funny that.
So I was doing game development, and they had given us an office for free. I was working there till late, and I got bored, and I was like, if I stream this, I would have friends talking to me as I'm working. So that's how I got into streaming. Late night office streams, and yeah.
My whole thing was I had so many games that I was playing, like indie games or mostly indie games, you know, like niche things. Braid, Hollow Knight at the time wasn't that big, so I was telling my friends, I was recommending it to everybody, and they were like, yeah, I'll get to that, no worries. You know how you, like, you know, throw it on the end of the backlist and nothing happens, you know? And I'm like, well, I need to talk about this stuff. I have a burning desire inside myself to discuss these things, and so I decided I needed to go live and shout it out to the internet and see what happens. That's how I sort of started, and yeah, since then I've just been doing that perpetually because I enjoy it. I love it.
Well, for me, how I found my niche essentially is, as you said, I have lots of games I've been wanting to play, but I don't have the time or like energy just to play them all at once. So I found my niche through story games because I wanted to put my community's input on what game to play next. So I would essentially have a list out there and let my community pick what to play on stream, and then it gives them more of a sense of involvement within my content, which is what I like to do with my streaming and things like that. So, and my community just loves to see me just suffer with video games, and they always like to pick suffering ones like horror games. But yeah, it's a really big enjoyment. Yeah, I found my niche in mainly just story games and like getting the input from my community, which is what I like to see really with content creating. And yeah, that's it.
Cool, I guess. So I started creating content on the internet back in 2019. I was in university and I just loved gaming, and I didn't have a lot of friends that also played video games, so I decided to hit live and stream my gameplay straight from my PlayStation. And how I found my niche, I just kind of kept the ball rolling. I was like, well, I can put anything on the internet now. And then I started creating cosplays and I started documenting any events.
I was going to say, be careful with anything.
Yeah, be careful with anything. Don't put everything. Some things aren't supposed to be on the internet. But yeah, just kind of kept the ball rolling, kept going cosplays and travel event vlogs and all kinds of things. And that's how I found my niche. It's just kind of what stuck and what ended up being enjoyable for me.
I think that there's the biggest takeaway is that anyone who's ever successful in this is when they've found what they're super passionate and what they love, and then you know, that's like, that is definitely your niche. I think that was actually for me in the conversation I was having with Jaden. It's like, yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to be interested in this, but I think for me it was because I did love what I was doing. People found me, found us because of it.
I think it's just generally because, like, when you create content that you're passionate about, people can tell
it's contagious.
There is success in things that you aren't passionate about but are so much easier to like burn out.
Yeah, and it's such an unknown factor. Like you don't know if you're gonna love it until you've tried it.
Yeah.
So once you've given it a shot, once you've jumped in, tried a few different things, like found your voice, found your niche,
Yeah.
that's when it all kicks off. That's
It's
when
funny you say it because I literally just did a podcast with the guys over in the other booth over there. Yeah. I was just saying, like, the first step is just getting live and doing it.
That's it. Actually, you were telling me just the other day, it's so easy to go to somewhere like Kmart. Yeah, and just pick up all the gear that you need for rock bottom. Like
$150, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
They
Well,
flash that.
sorry, I don't know if I got you all there. That kind of touches on the next question as well. It's just how do you stay creatively motivated?
I find that one really hard, and it's not so much the creativity, but work and life getting in the way. And I think probably all of us have had this experience, is you get, especially if you've got a day job and you've got families and all that sort of thing. That's what I find more difficult, is managing that with content creation. I actually joke that our wrestling podcast is the most inconsistent weekly wrestling podcast on the internet, because we'll go like weeks in a row of doing it and then go silent for 3 weeks. But it's just life, right? But we're lucky in that, and I think most people, genuine followers that love what you create, they're forgiving if you're like, hey, we're not going to be able to go live for a couple of weeks because life. Yeah.
And it happens. You get life will get in the way
Of everything.
all the time. Yeah, all the time.
I guess with me, with how I stay motivated and things like that, I think it just comes from my upbringing. I'm Latino, so I have a Latino mom, so, freaking, if you're raised by one of those, hard work is like instilled in you from like the day that you're born, like, nah, you have to work for it. And I guess as well, yeah, it just depends on, for me, it was all about my upbringing and things like that, being from Western Sydney and stuff like that. And just, seeing my mum work hard to get where she is and things like that. But also with me as well, like growing up from 2012 to 2018 in starting high school and finishing high school, that was like the peak era of YouTube, and seeing all your favorite creators like grind every day, like to be a YouTuber, to be a content creator. In my head, I was like, oh, if I want to do this, I have to do that. So it just became custom in my brain. I have to work hard to achieve my goals and things like that. That's how I stay motivated, at least. But also, just finding what you love and things like that. Like, I didn't find it a chore to make Jurassic videos, and because my content is basically what the community, their voice is being heard and things like that, and just getting all that, just making a video of just people's thoughts and opinions of the franchise that I'm into is so easy and just so fun, just to create discussion and just to make everyone feel heard and things like that.
With me, I do a lot of coding, so when you do coding, nothing ever works the first time you do it, and when it does work, it's like the best feeling ever. But it's a better feeling when someone's watching you succeed in something. That's my motivation, just getting something to work and everyone's like, whoa, it worked, it's so cool. I'm like, yeah, look at this, it's amazing. But yeah, so if you're passionate about something, you don't really have to find motivation, you're passionate about it, so like, you're just doing what you love, and people love watching what you love.
Yeah, it's a personal cheer squad. That's a good motivator for sure. For me, I love the creativity of editing, of scripting, of like figuring things out. My content comes from finding things online and just needing to talk about it. Beyond that, when I sort of can't find the motivation, which happens from time to time, other creators, like, I'll message somebody else and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what's up? What's been happening? I've seen your stuff online. It's fucking amazing. You're doing an incredible job. Sorry for swearing. I usually know these people. I've seen them at events, things like that. Do you want to go out and collab on something? Do you want to hang out? Or even just chat? Just to pick each other's brain and sort of get creative, get the juices flowing, and have a bit of a brainstorm session, see what comes out of it,
I tell you what, on the creativity side of things with you, I need to give you kudos. I was really envious of how awesome your announcement static moving image was for this.
That was just a bit of fun, right?
But that goes to show the creativity, right? You were saying that that's what drives you as being creative. You tell that you love making things super creative. It makes it more awesome to see.
Well, thank you.
Kudos.
I stay motivated essentially, as you guys said, like getting inspiration from others and also just kind of like bouncing off each other essentially of like what idea like you want to make or what idea you want to put out there. And also consuming the content as well online, but there's also a difference between consuming the content for inspiration and then brain rot. If people know what brain rot is, there's a complete difference between consuming that content, inspiration, but also brain rot purposes. But still online, like there's so much out there that people make, whether it's just like vlogging or just tips and tricks as well. Like getting resources is fully available for free online, and people don't take that for granted. Like people like make that for free just to help us improve ourselves and our content. Like I feel like people need to take that into consideration. But and also come from like a creative background as well, with my family doing a lot of artsy, crafty things. I kind of got burnt out with that, but that's a different story. But yeah, they also inspire me just to keep my inner child and like keep healing that while doing the things I love, just playing games online. Like who doesn't love that? So yeah.
I think with me, staying motivated creatively, don't push yourself too hard. And I've learned that the hard way because it's really easy to get wrapped up when you have some little bit of success or something's working or you're really, really proud of yourself because you have made that content, or for me, like a cosplay or something. And then I'm like, all right, on to the next thing, and you give yourself no time to breathe. That is how I immediately get burnt out, because I also work like a full-time 9 to 5, so every spare moment I have is working on content and being chronically online, which is not always helpful.
That's the hard thing as well, is getting caught up in the numbers and then feeling obligated to a community. Like you have to make content for people, otherwise.
And the world is not going to end if your vlog is 2 weeks late.
Just to add what you were saying as well, though, is that it's very easy to get yourself into a spiral at that point as well, because you've moved on to the next thing, you haven't taken a break, you've got to put pressure on yourself, and then because you put pressure on yourself, your quality can potentially drop as well, and then you start feeling bad about yourself because your content isn't as good. It's a whole spiral.
Yeah.
So giving yourself that room to take a week off.
Yeah, literally, sometimes I'll push myself too hard and I'll be like, all right, I need to step back, just focus on life, like work, eating properly, sleeping properly, and then in a week's time, I've just got so many ideas because I've taken a step back and I'm just like, oh my God, why didn't I think of this before? It's just looking at it with fresh eyes, basically. 100%. And that's how I tend to stay motivated. Don't overpush yourself.
You're better to take a week off than to burn out and lose a month and a half, 2 months, right?
Yeah, because you're not putting in your 100%.
100%.
Okay, well the next question is, how important is it to use social media alongside your content creation, and which social platforms do you recommend?
Can I take the lead on this one?
Yeah.
Only because I can speak to this one from a business point of view as opposed to the content creator point of view. How important is it? 100% it is the most important thing that you can do is focus on other social media platforms, and there's 2 reasons. Reason 1 being, you don't know where Twitch is going to be in a year's time. You don't know where Instagram is going to be in a year's time. You don't know if TikTok's going to get banned in a year's time, right? So spreading yourself out across multiple platforms is setting yourself up for security if one of those other platforms dies or drops off or whatever. 2, businesses want content creators that are creating stuff on Instagram and TikTok, and that's where you should be. Right now, you should be focusing on building that. So always keep an eye on what the next platform that's growing is. I highly recommend every time a new social platform is announced, go there, create your login, secure your username so that nobody else can steal it. Don't invest all your time into it until you start seeing a way of using that social media platform, but you at least have to have it there, because if it does start to pop off, you can go there. But yeah, Instagram and TikTok is where you need to be right now.
I
Yeah, I'll go now. Yeah, I guess ditto with what Fitz said. Social media is everything. I feel like it's very hard now in content creation in this generation to just be on one platform. I don't think that really works out anymore. You have to be consistently on multiple platforms all the time. I guess with me, from the previous question, don't listen to me. I push myself all the time and just don't take any breaks. So I'm just like, nah, gotta get the next upload, gotta get the next thing out. So don't listen to that advice. That's just me and my, South Americanness, I guess. But yeah, not only that, but yeah, just I think consistency is a really big thing, and that's the one thing that's gotten me this far so far in content creation. Like just being consistent. That was the main thing that I wanted to nail down. I wanted to make a schedule. I wanted to be consistent on everything, post all the time on everything, as well as Instagram and TikTok. I think those are the best things because you can kind of find your niche, build your community, and then when you feel comfortable enough, bring those people from those platforms to your Twitch, to your Discord, to your Twitter, all those things and things like that. Also, YouTube Shorts, I think that's also a really good thing to build your community around as well.
It used to be, I've got to double check this, but it was the algorithm hack for YouTube.
Yeah.
Was if you were putting out like your reels and TikToks out as YouTube shorts, if people watched enough of your shorts, it would start feeding your long form content into people's suggested content. So
as well as YouTube, with the YouTube Shorts as well, you can connect it to your actual long form videos and things like that. So I think it's a good way to just drive more community engagement and things like that. But other than that, consistency is probably the most important thing when it comes to being on social media platforms and things like that.
Fair enough,
I mean, it's okay if you don't have anything to say. We can just keep going.
I would say, for me, I find focusing down on just generally two consistent platforms. So if you're a streamer, and like a long form content creator, then maybe let the short form, not let it go, but be a little bit easier on yourself with the short form. If you're spending most of your time making those two things, then focus on those two things. Make those two things strong and let the other things just sort of trickle down. For me personally, I like to stream, I like short form content, so my long form tends to be a bit, non-existent for the most part. As much as I would love to try it, it's something that I just don't have time for right now, so play to what time you have.
Absolutely.
And focus down on just what you can manage without trying to spread yourself thin on all the other platforms at once.
I completely agree with what you said. Like, don't overload yourself with so many platforms. Like, don't just make one platform just because you're a creator. Like, use it wisely. So I completely agree with that one. And what I would recommend is, yes, please make separate content like outside of Twitch and outside of streaming, because you're not going to get much engagement or much people just knowing who you are. I would 100% recommend like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Mainly Instagram, because you can schedule, and Twitter you can schedule it, so you can just make the post when you're motivated, and then just schedule it, and you can go to sleep at night feeling like, I just made some content, and like I'm happy with myself, and I'm not burnt out. But I would 100% recommend like splitting that, and also making separate accounts. Don't mix personal with business, I guess, if you call content business. Well, it depends, but I recommend making it all separate. Everyone else said my answer, so.
I agree wholeheartedly with everyone. I also think it depends on your niche and for what platform would work for you. I know with cosplay and stuff, a lot of YouTube Shorts and Instagram, great platforms for it, especially TikTok as well. It depends on if you show the process of making the cosplay or if you're doing a little dance in cosplay. They definitely work. Short form content has become a lot more popular. People's attention spans are getting a lot smaller. And it's easier to get into the habit of doom scroll as a viewer and a creator. So I feel like short form is great, but also know your niche, because I love my travel vlogs, and although short form is great, I want to be able to capture everything that I see on my travels and be able to share that with my audience. So I love my vlogs, and I have been the type of person that has jumped from platform to platform. I initially started with Twitch because that's where all my friends and family and community was, but I've really started to diversify my content, and it's making me a lot happier because I'm seeing better results, and I'm also feeling better about the type of content that I'm
I think
producing.
that there is a massive key, that last thing that you just said, is what's making you happier.
Yeah.
If you're on a platform and you're not enjoying it anymore, you don't need to be there. No one's forcing you to be there.
And the audience can tell. If you're not
100%.
having a good time, they're not going to have a good time because
Exactly.
you're not.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Also, I suppose it goes without saying, but make your content work for you. Make your content work for you. So if you have a short form video, throw it on YouTube Shorts, throw it on TikTok, throw it on Instagram, throw it wherever it'll go, wherever it'll fit, whichever platform will take it, put it there. That's where it lives now. That's important.
Even Twitch Shorts. Is anybody seeing any success from the Twitch Shorts?
I haven't seen a lot of success on that. No.
Like the
He
stories.
just found out about it.
Oh,
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, I've seen a lot on there.
Yeah.
They're trying it.
I use stories.
Well, look, LinkedIn tried stories as well, so
yeah.
Nah, but LinkedIn though, like when you're later on, like when you're
that's the hack.
yeah, like LinkedIn, that's like later on in content creation, once you grow a bit and things like that, LinkedIn is like one of those underrated ones where you meet a lot of connections and a lot of sponsorships.
That's where the boring people like me live.
Yeah. But you know, if later on, you know, money, LinkedIn's the go.
Money.
Real.
If anyone is going to join LinkedIn for networking business purposes, for meeting brands and stuff like that, I've got an amazing hack for when you come to events like this, is when you meet people at an event, especially if it's a professional that you want to reconnect with later, what you do is you add them on LinkedIn within half an hour of talking to them. Because what will happen is they will remember you and they'll probably accept your connection request, whereas if you add them in a month's time, they're going to go, who's this random? Because the people that come to these events for work purposes meet hundreds of people during their weekend, so the chances are they're going to forget who you were. But do it within half an hour, and they will, chances are they'll add you. That's the hack.
Okay, cool. Next question. I am going to skip one because we kind of already talked about
Am I
like.
talking too much?
No. We're all yappers, so I mean, I can pull the plug whenever. How do you guys handle mistakes or negative feedback and criticism? Especially about your niche, because it's something you're passionate about.
I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah?
I haven't had too much negativity since I started doing what I'm doing. But I've seen a lot of it for other people. And my number one recommendation to other people that have really bad experiences with people online and stuff like that, genuinely uninstall the app where you're being attacked, take a break, step away, because it'll blow over within 24, 48 hours, then you come back. Ignore, walk away.
Yep, I think. Oh, you go.
No, you go.
No, because I was just gonna bounce off that and be like, the stepping away is the best part because a lot of people get sucked into the internet so quickly and think what everyone is saying on the internet is so important, so truthful, you know, and it's really easy to get wrapped up in it. One person's negative comment doesn't mean a thing about you if you know who you are. If you are true to who you are and you are like a nice person, then what one person behind a keyboard is going to say should not affect you.
I think it's like a very fine line, especially with me. I like criticism. I always like the fact that people think that I can improve, and that's the main thing that you should always be trying to do in content creation, is always trying to improve your content and things like that. So depending on what they're saying and stuff like that, with me, I normally take it on the chin. I'm like, okay, reassess what you're doing, see how better ways you can make it better. But if it is negative comments and things like that, me personally, I grew up in the MW2 lobby you know, at 11, 10 years old getting screamed at by adult men. So I have a really big backbone when it comes to like negative comments and things like that. I don't take it seriously. I don't take social media or the internet seriously. At the end of the day, like I'm playing a character when I'm content creation. Like, and Jurassic and Jaden are two different people, so I don't normally take it to heart. But I understand it's very hard to separate that because how involved you are in things like that.
I think something else I just want to sort of touch on here with the negative experiences on social media and stuff. I genuinely feel like I'm going to speak for the men on the panel here. We have it a lot easier, and I'm really curious when we get to the ladies what their experience is like, because I genuinely think that the ladies get a lot harder time on social media because of trying to censor my wording here, but men need to do better.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of men out there that feel entitled to give opinions on what the women look like, what they say, what their opinion is, and all that sort of thing.
Men are shit. Yeah.
We need to do better.
But yeah, also as well, like with me, I know, like speaking from a male perspective, it's totally different and things like that. But I guess with me as well, like I don't take it seriously and things like that, is that I use the negativity and things like that to prove people wrong. That is another source of my motivation. It's like, yeah, heck you, I'm gonna do better and I'm gonna show you that I can do it. But like I said, it's all dependent on your mentality and how you approach it as well. But that's just me. That's just the way I think.
When it comes to live streaming and you get those negative people that comment in chat, just insta ban. If you don't see it, then it doesn't affect you. So that's what I usually do. And most of my content was a lot of chaotic stuff and hard to follow. So if anyone was against it, then they're not really my type of viewers, and I'll just be like, just leave if you don't like it. So yeah.
Fair call. I think like we work in an industry that attracts a lot of passionate people, right? So when we post something, especially something that is an opinion, you're gonna get people who disagree loudly. But I don't necessarily hold that against them. I'm an aggressively positive person myself. Pretty much if somebody's gonna come at me about something, I'm gonna meet them where they live and, find out what their deal is. You know what I mean? Like, it's, like, clearly you have an issue, not necessarily with me, but with what I've said, and I want to know why. Let's break that down. What's happening? Sometimes that's in the comment section, and, sometimes it doesn't go the way you want it to, but, you move on, and you find other places to talk. Well, they find other places to talk, like if they're following me, that's kind of like, you're meeting me in my room. Like, I'm here.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, like somebody came into my stream at one point and they wanted to talk about something that I was opposed to. And I pretty much told them, this is my opinion, and they unfollowed me. It's like, okay, well...
It's your space, dude.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, It's like you...
I think that's the thing that all content creators need to remember, is that it's your space.
That's it.
And you don't have to allow people into your space.
100%. Like, I've invited you into my space. As much as I'm there to entertain you, this is still a space that I curate and have built from the ground up for entertainment. So it's going to, it's going to be my opinion. It's going to be my space. So you're welcome to come in. You're welcome to hang out. You're welcome to, enjoy the vibes. But if you don't, please, the door is right there. Yeah, that's it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, good riddance. Anyway, so for me, in the past, I used to be a big people pleaser, and I would always take criticism I'm not pleasing you, let me make this better. But now I don't give an F. Literally, I don't take it. I take it for a grain of salt, really, unless it's from other creators or friends that maybe just want to give advice or saying, hey, maybe try this, or if you're struggling with this, try X, Y, and Z. With other creators and friends, it's different. Because sometimes it might be negative, but sometimes it can also be oh, hey, I'm trying to help you improve. Let's try this out, see where it gets you. But if it's from anyone in my streamy or comment section, I'm like, goodbye, get out of my space. Like, I don't need you to talk about politics in my chat. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, like, it's my space. Like, as you said, like, we create a space. Like, you're welcome to enter, but you disrupt it. Goodbye. Like, you know, so.
I just love the image of like how you said they've come into my room. So they've just like broken into your room, said a comment, and then like, you're like, what?
You said, know where they live. I'm like, I'm going to find where you live right now. Yeah.
I've basically everyone's covered it, but even what Fid said, like as a woman on the internet, you will have the people that cross boundaries quite often. I've dealt with it from the start. I've even dealt with something like more recently of just like a person making new accounts, coming back, kind of, you know, harassing me a little bit. And it's all about just know your boundaries. You always have people within the community, especially other creators that you could probably go to and be like, look, this is happening, I don't know what to do. And a lot of the time it's just block and report. Yes, they can keep coming back, but it's all about more like resilience and knowing your place and just being able to put that, especially like as a new creator, especially when you're like streaming for the first time. I accidentally smacked the bottom of the microphone. People come into chat, you'll be excited about new viewers, and then you want to keep them entertained, you want to keep them happy, but if it's at your own expense, then it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. So yeah, just kind of do what makes you happy. Also, if you're unsure, reach out, go to other creators. I know I've had people come to me and be like, hey, there's a person in my chat that just gives weird vibes. I feel weird about it because they've gifted me subs and stuff, so I feel like I owe them something. But if they're just crossing and making you uncomfortable, then you have, it's all in your right to just block them, ban them, get rid of them. Okay. Question number 6. What changes do you guys see coming in the industry over the next few years? This is a very broad question.
In the next how many years?
Sorry?
In the next how many years?
It just says few, so like 3 to 5.
What do you think, Phil?
Oh, that's a...
Are you going to be alive by then, Phil?
It feels like it is a very... Look, it is an interesting one. I think live streaming at the moment has reached a point where if it doesn't evolve, it's just going to stagnate because all the platforms are trying to do it and there's no real evolution in what's happening in live streaming. I do think we're going to continue to see the growth in short form content. Short form's currently king and I can only see that getting better, but what I think we're going to see is quality increase in short form. So currently the people that are excelling in short form are the few people that have the ability to be able to spend really good money on and time on production. My biggest prediction is probably going to be the increase in production in short form, because currently short form is totally accessible. Anyone can create short form content with their phone. But I think we're going to see that sort of increase. Same sort of thing we saw with YouTube 10 years ago, where you could record a video on a potato and it would go viral. And now the expectation on YouTube is it almost needs to be cinema quality. Yeah. And I think we're going to start seeing that evolution in short form.
I just ditto with what Fid said. I know with me, with my IRL job it's like content creation, but like more corporate. Their big thing is just more AI this, AI that. And it's just like, brother, what the hell?
It goes back to AI.
Yeah, it's just boomers pretty much. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right.
I'll make this quick. But yeah, I think in the next like 2 years, in my opinion, I feel like it's going to get really hard to get into content creation because I think the Australian market will kind of be established by then. So I think if you're thinking about it, definitely get in now because I can kind of see it just being...
It's already oversaturated.
Yeah, pretty much, that.
I don't think anything about it.
You don't think anything? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, fair. Real quick, I mean, it's pretty much, it's never been easier, it's never been more accessible, which has led to that oversaturation. Everybody has a phone, so everybody has a camera, everybody has a microphone, you know, it's all in your hand. And the easiest tool to start with is the tool that you already have. You don't have to spend any money, you're just in it. So I think based on that, it's all just gonna come down to, you know, who attracts the audience, who gets popular, who people gravitate towards through charisma or interest or whatever.
Survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest.
Life finds a way.
I think we're going to start seeing for the first time in the next few years, there's more content creator retirements.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because we're starting to see the early YouTubers now getting to that stage.
They're all settling down and having families and dogs and moving to Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we're actually going to start seeing more retirements.
Yeah.
I think for me what's going to happen in the next few years, well hopefully, is more diversity. I'm really big on advocating for more diversity within the ANZ creator space, more towards black people, because there's not enough and there needs to be something done about it. So I'm hoping there's more things like that within the next few years for creators, and also just more small creators getting more opportunities, working with brands or getting invited to events, getting to see things that, you know, quote unquote big influencers get to see. You know, that's what I'm hoping is going to happen for the next few years. But yeah, more so towards diversity side of things, because there's a lack of that here in Australia.
Very well said. All right, I've got one last question, and we're going to kind of speed run it. In one sentence, do you have advice for any aspiring creators?
I'm going to pass on that because I think I've given heaps.
All right.
I think I just ditto again, consistency. Be consistent. That's the biggest tip that I'll say.
Nice. Yeah, just do it. If you've got an idea, if you've got a thought, if you've got creativity inside you, get out there and do it.
Oh, can I say one more?
Yeah.
Embrace being cringe.
Yes.
Be cringe, be you. Just embrace it.
So many people don't bother starting because they're worried about cringe.
That's it.
But
Forget what your friends
I've actually
think.
got the saying that cringe, that area of cringe, that's where the money is. Have a look at all the successful content creators in the world, they're all cringy as hell.
Yeah, that's it. I
Yeah.
went to the TikTok Awards last year and I was talking to a few of the biggest creators. Some of them won awards and
It's
they
all
were
cringe.
saying, exactly, like, my friends cringe so hard at what I make, but I hold the trophy for it. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it.
Literally, if you just want to play games on your computer but show people that's not your friend and you're shy, just do it. Just do it online. You might make new friends. Like I made new friends by streaming on Twitch and making content. So just do it. Like, don't have something.
I think my pieces of advice is sort of what I touched on before. Just know your boundaries. Block that person if they're making you uncomfortable. And then the other thing, if you want to upskill and you don't know where to start, YouTube tutorials are your best friend. I love YouTube tutorials. It just tells me how to do everything.
I have got one piece of advice I want to check out to people.
I thought you wanted to skip.
I know, typical Fed, he's always got something to say. No, but there's an amazing, I'm completely disconnected from this, so you know it's valid. ANZ Creators Discord is a massive Discord that's just for creators. If you ever need any help, there's always somebody in there who's going to have knowledge and experience that will probably help you. So if you're wanting to get into the space, I highly recommend joining me.
Cool. And I guess now it's question time. I think we have like 5 minutes if anyone has any questions from the audience. We'll go at the front first.
What's your name?
Eva. Hi. So I kind of have a two-pronged question. So partially towards you two. So it's basically the same question, different format. To you two and then to you guys. So as Phil touched on earlier, being a woman online is very different to being a guy. It's a very different experience. Woman to woman, what advice would you guys give to a female streamer or someone who wants to start as a female streamer? And obviously as a guy, the advice would be similar, but what in a way to help women stay safe online? And because you guys are the ones more often than not that see it happen but don't experience it, how do you help and support, how would you recommend to help and support the female creators in our lives?
Ladies first on this.
Yeah. What a good.
All right, first of all, don't listen to men. Is the first. No, I'm kidding. Some of my obviously closest friends. No, know your boundaries. I've this panel, know your boundaries, and if you look for it, there are so many safe space for women, marginalized genders, sexualities, every single person. There are safe spaces on the internet and especially in the streaming community. I would even recommend reaching out to me. I know I run a small community for marginalized genders.
Yes, please.
And Lava.
Hit me up.
We are more than happy to help cultivate a safe space for you and give any advice. And do what you're comfortable with. Don't, because people are questioning about certain platforms, don't feel obligated to post yourself on there if you're not comfortable with it. Yes, success and money and stuff is enticing, but do not give up your own self-worth if you don't want to.
Yeah, and build that tough skin as well. Over time, you will build that tough skin, being online and being on the internet. You get random comments of random people telling you to do weird things online, but don't fall for it. They're just trying to see you lose. I'm not going to start but what I've received, but yeah, you just build that tough skin over time, and also have emergency contacts as well, and also let people know that you're going to start doing this so they can look out for you, and also you can go back to them saying, hey, what the hell just happened, can you help me, build those connections before you want to start as well, is what I would recommend.
Okay, so for the blokes, men, boys, call out your friends. If they're being dickheads and you see them being dickheads, call them out. Because the only reason we have, or one of the only reasons, probably multiple, but one of the main reasons why we have toxic men is because it's been allowed to be cultivated, because we don't say anything to our friends, because of its shame or whatever, I don't care. Call them out. The other one is, and I don't want to be that guy that gives women advice, but I think girls need to keep speaking up, because guys will not like being publicly called out. Don't make it comfortable for guys.
Hate and negativity is taught.
Yeah, just my advice.
Yeah, just don't be a creep if you're a dude.
It's not that hard, guys.
Yeah, just respect women and just treat women how you'd want to treat your mum. You know what I mean? Just don't be a creep.
Cool. Next question.
What's your name, sir?
I don't think there's anything we can teach Noel.
Well, firstly, hi, I'm Noel. My question to you all, because content creation can be quite challenging at times. There's a lot of, things you have to face, being a content creator, being male, female, non-gendered, whatever. But what I'd love to know is what has been your most rewarding or wholesome experience as a content creator?
Hey Cam, did you hear that? Can you repeat it?
Wholesome moment as a content creator. Most rewarding or wholesome?
Yeah.
You guys do it.
I don't know. I need to think about that. I think having people come up to me from my community and just be so excited to see me and meet me, because I still think of myself as a baby creator. I don't like to look at numbers, and I know I'm not as big as YouTubers and stuff out there. So just having people from my community get excited to see me, catch up with me, want to take photos with me, and I don't know, thank me for helping them find a little space on the internet, whether it's just in chat for a couple of hours a week or something. That just makes me really happy, because that's all I wanted as a viewer before I started creating as well. Guys, we're running out of time.
Fine. For me, it's getting opportunities to do lots of things. For me, I raise lots of money for mental health as well as Palestine. Just getting an opportunity to do that as a creator. It's really rewarding, because you're literally doing a good cause for something in the world. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's one of the most rewarding things for me.
Oh, myself? Hey. For me, I think one of the most specific moments that's really stuck with me is I had a viewer DM me at one point saying they'd been through a really hard time, and although they hadn't told me anything about it, they said that coming into my streams every week or whatever had helped them through that difficult time. It was something that the positivity, the energy, the good time, somebody to talk to, not necessarily about their issues, but just in general a friendly face, really meant something to them, and it sort of helped them out. So without even meaning to, just being an idiot on the internet has has affected somebody's life in a meaningful way, and that hit me. That's something.
I have two. The second is being on the front page, and I made a game show, and that was a lot of fun. And the first one is meeting my fiance.
Yeah, with me, I'll try and make it quick, but yeah, to do what V-Drop said, those messages that you get from your community, like, yeah, they mean the world and things like that, and it's very wholesome. And also, like, meeting people in your community, like, at events and, you know, signing their shoes or their shirt, that's, like, really cool. But I guess for me, the most proud, and I guess this is an exclusive, but I guess with all my hard work with Jurassic and, you know, I'm going to the premiere for Jurassic World Rebirth, invited by Universal and stuff like that. So, you know, just doing all my Jurassic content and stuff like that, seeing how all my hard work has kind of paid off, it's a really rewarding feeling, and it's really cool.
I think for me, my most rewarding thing isn't actually from being a content creator. Mine is being able to help content creators create a career out of what they're doing in my day job. And anytime I've ever had a thank you from people like NJ or whatever earlier, that's what I find rewarding.
Okay, cool. And I think we're out of time, so I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming in and watching us today. And thank you to our wonderful panelists. We have Fid McAwesome on the end, NJ Rassic, Alchemy_03, Beat-Drop Bandit, Lavabun, and myself, Just Ellie will do. And you can find us on almost all platforms under those names, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, cool. And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.